Well, it just looks like at the end, TSM FTX have just went with what they have managed to win with in this series, and Quincy crew are throwing all caution to the wind and going with the most YOLO pick possible. And that is going to be the context of our game number 5. Let's go over who's playing what for one final time. We got Moon Meander on the Tiny. He's been having a hell of a time on these 4 positions, just jumping in, not caring about his life, and tossing people back. Bryle, excellent carry Lena from last game. Saberlight's going to be playing one of those real icky offlaners that he's known to be able to pull off. Dubu had one hell of a performance on this Warlock in Game 1, and he looks for a repeat performance here in Game 5. Tomato pulling out the carry Dawnbreaker at the end. Meanwhile, on the side of Quincy crew, Fada playing the Winter Wyvern that has had so much success in this series, but did finally lose a single game. Quinn on the Zeus has been super slippery with that 4-staff build. We'll see if he goes something like that again. We've got Leslau and MSS on the Bristleback IO combo. Look for them to be just playing around each other constantly. And last, and certainly not least, our carry Yawar Windranger. I'm super excited for this series, Avery.
I'm telling you, man, you get to these end of the series and these best of 3, best of 5s, long days. People just go with what they feel. Strategy out the window, analytics out the window, and coaches for what, the preparation for what. Just pick what you think is good and outplay the other dude. That's what Dota's about. I like to see this because this is not going to be a clean game. It may not be a pretty game.
It's going to be messy. It's going to be
something entertaining is going to happen. I guarantee you that.
Or we're going to see Dota. It's Rost.
Its purest form, distilled to raw emotion. Hunger. Who wants the slot? Goddamn, I love NA Quals, man. I absolutely love them.
All right, well, it's fitting for our final game in an even series that we get an even split of the bounty runes. We're going to see, keep a close eye on this mid matchup, which Bryle has been doing really well so far against Quinn. And I think that Lena does beat Zeus, right? I mean, he's got the range advantage at least.
I think Lena can beat anything in the game. I mean, this hero's just an absolute monster laner. If you play well, you play the good harass, good CS, long range, pretty hard to trade well versus hero. I always have faith Lena can at worst go even in almost any matchup. So yeah, you should have a decent time here. And big question to me, I guess, is does Tomato play Dawnbreaker?
That is a good question.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I've seen, we watched Bryle just play Dawnbreaker just yesterday. And I've seen Saberlight play it a billion times. I can't think of a time that Tomato played carry Dawnbreaker.
I don't remember it. I mean, he's a Bronze Dawn. Whatever that means. Maybe nothing, but you might just be taking it for the team. You know, they saw the opportunity, seize it. Can you play it? Sure. you know, Yawar's playing Windranger on the other side, so sometimes you gotta bust out the creative stuff to get the dub. And wave pulling from both sides here. Melee 4 is back in the meta. Well, Io's not a melee hero, but he's not doing much on the lane, so...
Yeah, I feel like this meta was most notably set from the missing team in this NA qualifier, Evil Geniuses, where Crit would, very often, they'd be running a double melee lane, and Crit would just, every single time, be doing this pulling, and it seems like that's just going to be the trend, which makes things really messy, and does leave opportunities. I mean, look at this giant wave that's pushing in right now. If they manage to, like, actually push Leslau out, he's going to miss out on a healthy amount of golden experience.
I don't think Leslau's too happy about what's happening down here. He's getting massive regen burn. He's still a long way from ring. He's going to have to keep dragging here himself. Tomato has this triple wave under the tower. He can drag it through here after killing some of these and deny another full wave. Dubu might even get the full connect on the range creep here. That's what he's aiming for. He gets it. Pretty annoying for Lelis here.
Oh, very nice. Moon Manor snipes another courier with the tree grab. It's just kind of the way it goes. The urn already complete for Saberlight, so if they can get an early kill, Fada's going to have to be really careful with this positioning. These urn charges can really snowball a lane.
Yeah, you have to be careful about the toss
there
backs
it is.
As we talk about it.
He tries to fly over the trees. He's not going to make it far enough. He is dead. That's going to be your first blood. That's going to be your urn charges as well.
That's a rough one. what it means is this Viper gets to buy extra mana regen on top of boots, on top of the earn charge to refill his goose stacks here. It's not the hero you want to be giving this first blood to. Upside is you get some solo XP for Wind Ranger, who's a pretty nice hero to get it on. That's like a silver lining in a very dark cloud.
Considering the fact that 99% of the population either runs it as a support or when it's core as a mid laner, where it gets solo experience the entire time. That does make sense.
You're just a Wind Ranger carry hater, man. I'm feeling it.
I'm just, you know,
I
saying
hope this
that...
kid shows you up right now. You about to take some notes and learn some lessons.
Okay. We'll see if that happens, though. Tomato is doing a little battle once again with Leslau, as he is not afraid, and nor Dawnbreaker. You never should be afraid of challenging anybody. Your stats are just kind of crazy at the start of the game.
Yeah, he is having a free-for-all down here. Absolute free farm. Bristle opted for the boots to try and do these pull-throughs, and if he dies here, narrowly escapes. But he's not a happy camper.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He is pretty much scrounging in this lane. But cutting like this does mean that you get to occasionally TP back to base and then just run out to lane. So that is one upside to it.
And of course, Bristle's more about those stacks for the acceleration than the actual early lane, which Moj was trying to make sure of, and Dubu, reading him like a book, comes in here trying to get the double block. Sentries both of them. Nice. Very heads-up play, shutting down the comeback potential for this Bristleback.
Quinn pushes in the mid lane and then heads back to base, especially with Ryle harassing him so much. Ryle is ahead in experience, 34 and 5, so he is definitely taking the CS lead and hits his level 6 first.
Did you see the tip he threw out earlier?
No, I didn't.
Got that one.
What
Ryle threw a little tip Quinn's way because he basically got both water runes from him.
Okay.
And I think that's a little, you know, you've had enough runes this series, sir.
yeah.
You can afford to lose a couple, so that is why Quinn had to walk the base there. Getting beat on the regen a little bit, then Ryle's having another pretty free game on this Lina.
Yeah. I mean, I love to see it. It felt like just the longest time of watching NA pubs, watching in-house leagues. It felt like Bryle was always on the receiving end of a Quinn beatdown. It's good to see him winning these matchups in the mid lane and, getting a little cocky with it, throwing out some tips. He gets a double damage rune once again. Quinn's going to be denied a power rune. MSS should be able to tether away just fine, but they may just have to TP out if Bryle keeps his pressure up.
He's looking. He wants to kill him on the next cut. Or does he? He just run. Yeah, he does. Popping the DD.
There's show now. See if they can hide away into the trees and go for a TP out. Bryle's holding on to the LSA, though. MSS is going to be chased down by the hammer. And Leslau, well, you could see Bryle's just making sure. Now he throws out the LSA, but at this point, nothing but a point and click that is going to be able to get that kill. Top lane looks like Yuar got gone on. Viper actually hits level 6 before him.
That's the benefit of this Viper in this game. He can be left alone, and he's sure Wind Ranger's not dying, but Wind Ranger's not going to pressure him until later on in this game. So Fada's stacking the jungle. There'll be more stacks for this Bristle to catch up, or Zeus to accelerate. But Viper's chilling. Moonmeander can take mid while this Lina runs around and steals enemy stacks. Maybe even kills some supports here. Out of mana.
Oh, the Moonmeander's on the other side with the toss over, and oh no, the Fairy Fire keeps him alive, but the Dawnbreaker ultimate, that will ensure the kill. And Tomato makes sure that there's also no response from Quinn or Fada.
So they steal that triple hard camp. TSM being pretty efficient in this early game, making a decent amount of use out of their cores and moving them around to the right places. Again, Leslau has just been forced off the lane. Did get those stacks, so it'll propel him back to an okay position. Still, it seems like TSM is, the flow is in their direction, for the moment at least.
Yeah, it does certainly feel like that. Leslau's going to spend a little bit more time in the jungle, maybe finish up his Vanguard. Quinn, he really wanted a power rune. TSM FTX really did not want to let him have it. They take a haste rune away from him. And top lane continues to be a bit of a menace. Even if Saberlight's not getting the kill, he keeps on forcing Yuar away from the creep wave.
Another Viper Strike going out, just burning his regen on a hero that does not innately buy a lot. Moonmeander stealing some stacks, forcing his Bristle off even more. Sends him back bottom. I mean, has TSM given up a single rune in the last, like, 1.5 games here? Feels like they flipped the switch and said, alright, we're done giving Quinn anything in this game. Sends him back to base for a second time on the Zeus.
Trying to hold their safe lane tower here. Moonmeander has joined them up here. Quincy crew just playing inside of the trees, though. It seems like they're just kind of biding their time. I don't know when carry Windranger, when you start making moves. I'm not sure when Quinn's going to be ready to fight either. Leslau certainly just wants to farm. I think every Bristleback wants to hit that timing where he hits the Aghanim Scepter.
All about Vanguard Ags for this hero. Even after that, he's going to have to fight into this Viper, into the Bonds, Alina poking him from far, and Bombbreaker, no slouch. I worry for the impact this Bristle's going to have. He kind of got shafted to the offlane after that Viper pick for a decent reason. Puts more emphasis on this Yawar Windranger to make some magic happen.
Yeah, and what does a Windranger do? Like, Windranger is not a proficient jungler. So when he gets shoved down a lane and his tower taken, what do you actually do? Tomato? A level 9 Dawnbreaker is not going to be easy to bring down, especially with a Viper. Saberlight has already made this rotation over, and Leslau is going to die. Quinn joins in on the fight, but unfortunately Tomato didn't even take enough damage to commit for the kill.
So early Viper rotation to clean up this Bristle while the Lina was chilling top. Tier 1 tower gone. Map is being constricted here for Quincy, and a 3k lead out of the laning phase here at 10 minutes. Significant amount. As you said, this Windranger is not a flash farmer. She is slowly crawling through these neutral camps, but pretty far behind at this point. Almost in double up territory with this Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, I can't, like, looking at this support duo of Io Wyvern, like, you don't have one of those, like, melee stunners that can help the Windranger get some damage out. So I don't know exactly how they get into engagements, whether it's team fights or small skirmishes. Either one seems to be in the favor of TSM FTX.
It's hard. I mean, there is nobody to start anything for this lineup right now. Which means these types of siege fights where TSM post up, you get to look at them, and that's about it. Because you're not starting anything. It's just keep farming, split push the lanes, try and abuse TSM's lack of catch for now, which, you know, is also pretty limited. It's pretty much on this tiny tumbler toying in. But I think TSM is happy with the pace of how this game is going and what they're getting. Because I don't think this carry Windranger is spooking them too much, you know?
No, certainly not. Not when they've got the Lina on their side. And they've got a great lineup with dealing. Like, even if they're not catching these heroes, they can easily farm the waves that are pushed in. They've got a Boots of Travel Lina. They've got a Dawnbreaker, who's a naturally global hero, can just sit in a lane. So I feel like they've got the side lanes pretty well addressed.
I guess the one upside here is you've got Zeus. You know?
True.
Zeus is Zeus. This hero does some unique things, one of them being perhaps the highest damage in the game, so as long as he can get to decent item timings, which he's keeping up here pretty well, can always win fights off the back of just the raw damage this hero pumps out.
They're gonna go for it. Really nice use of the toy tumbler again. Tosses MSS over to the side. MSS needs to retether on out of here away from Tomato, and they do manage to get the kill on Moonmeander and TP up, but the curse is going to go down. The Viper and Warlock are on their way, but if they can get this kill fast enough with the Shackle Shot, but here comes the Golem. Locks down 3. They get a really good Fatal Bonds as well. They've all got to get out of here, not with the Bonds on them. Bristleback's the first to TP away. The hammer cuts through and catches Yawar. A beautiful hammer from Tomato with a little bit of damage on top. Yawar is going to live. It looks like the urn is not going to be enough.
What looked like Tomato getting caught just turns into run for the hills for Quincy, and after that Golem Bonds hits like that, again, no dispels on this lineup for a long time. It's usually what you want to see versus Warlock hero. Just going to come down to Mojo healing people through the damage with mech and trying to get to these later BKBs. They're a long way away.
What have we here?
a shard soon for Quinn. Pretty significant upgrade in damage. And, I mean, that last fight was pretty okay for them, right? The Golem got used. They only lost the Wyvern for it.
Acceptable casualties. The problem is, carry Windranger doesn't really want to join fights and not get kills off it. Like, you need to be getting kills with this hero for you to feel really good, because she just doesn't farm as fast as this Lina, chunking down ancient stacks and waves, Viper clearing through, you know, creep camps, Dawnbreaker is a pretty fast farmer, just throwing the hammer around. Like, you're not going to keep up the same pace, and I'm worried for Yawar at this point. I'm getting worried. He's level 8. He's at 4.3k net worth. This Dawn and Lina are a very long distance ahead of him, right? We're looking at level 11 and level 12 compared to this level 8 Windranger.
I've seen 4 Windrangers look stronger than Yawar's currently.
Yeah, he's having a rough one. So, comeback mode for him, which, again, a lot of the comeback priority was given to this Bristleback, who's now top of the net worth chart for Quincy. He is getting farmed. On his way to that Ags.
Yeah, it does actually seem like Quincy crew have at least slowed down the bleeding. I'm not going to say stop, but they've slowed down the bleeding and will be able to get their next round of items. They're going to lose MSS here with Bryle showing up, and looks like Leslau's not going to make it out either. Moon Meander on the other side. They catch him with Saberlight as well. So a nice 2 kills for TSM FTX with that one, slowing down that Aghanim Scepter even more.
Go to the IO. If you go on the IO, you can't reload out, you can't reload on you. It's the oldest trick in the book, and just as we were saying, this Bristle's getting to a decent timing. It's going to be set back here. Good target prioritization from TSM. Like, this is the biggest kill they can get in the game right now. Yeah, this Bristle's countered by, you know, some Lina Viper. He's still Quincy's best bet to take some mid-game fight and try and get a Roshan out of it if they win. I mean, it's like their best bet is this Bristle Ags. I don't know if he can ever just run in, though. Maybe he needs BKB too, I think.
I think he might. And I'm not sure if they could stall out the game long enough. And even if they did, like, they don't actually have better late game, I don't think, right? Not against what is very strong team fight from TSM FTX and a good carry in Lina.
Does kind of feel like this Lina reigns supreme in the late game. Again, the Zeus factor, I never want to bet against this hero in a late game scenario. He's just so insanely powerful. The vision, the global Nimbus on damage.
You know Quint's losing his mind. Tried to go for another power rune. Guessed wrong. Bryle guessed right. Arcane rune for Alina.
Win the runes, win the game. That's what Moon Meander's chanting the entire time.
Radiant's bottom tower is
I could actually see him doing something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he totally
That's the
could.
best part. Alright, Aghanim Scepter is done for Leslau. Can they do something with this, or are they going to have to stall until they get BKB? I mean, we have yet to see an offensive relocate from them, right?
Yet to see basically anything. I mean, they have 1 kill, so basically just been farming it up and hoping at some point the opportunity presents itself where they get to that right item timing. They have an Aether on Zeus, Ags on that Bristle, and Maelstrom Windranger. So this is about as good as it's going to get for a while. I would expect them to try and find some opening here. At least maybe try and capitalize on some mispositioning or a mistake from TSM. And I think Fada agrees. He's got some smokes on him. He's got some wards.
One-man smoke. All right.
Interesting. I mean, of course he can set up a curse into a relo, right? So he doesn't need everybody, and there's the global Zeus spell.
Yeah, and
but he
probably
just wastes it.
Ooh, things feel like they're crumbling a little bit for Quincy crew. If they lose this fight, you get real nasty out there. But Leslau does spot him immediately. It was a 180. Bounced away from them. And he's pretty fast with this constant maxed out warpath.
Elder Rune, Quinn wants it, but he's not going to get it here. And double damage for Tomato.
Can they Roshan?
Yeah, he has BKB too. I think they can.
It's tempting, but you just might throw away the game. I mean, you probably feel like you're in a pretty comfortable spot if you're TSM. Roshan is always a dangerous predicament if everybody on the enemy team is alive.
You just have full vision control. You have the Warlock. You have BKB Dawn. I mean, it's such a hard fight for Quincy to just run into this Bonds Golem right now. Yeah. No BKBs on them. Aegis for Bryle. This is looking similar to last game.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is. Quincy crew just give that one up in exchange for a little bit more space to farm. I mean, it almost feels like they're just going to give everything up in this game until TSM tries to go high ground or something.
I don't know if TSM has to, though.
Yeah, I don't think they have to either.
I'm pretty happy just farming here if you're TSM too. I don't think they're on much of a timer. Like, you've got the Warlock, you've got this Dawn Tricore, which I think we've all seen the power of Dawnbreaker in the late game. That is not where this hero suffers.
Dire's top tower is under
Tomato win
attack.
for the Echo Saber, break apart, go BKB, and then Mage Slayer build. We've seen this a couple of times. It's not the most damage coming out from Dawnbreaker, but it's a huge amount of sustain, especially if you get on top of the backline magic damage dealers. Hit him with the Mage Slayer, hit the Zeus with one. It's going to feel really, really good for you. This smoke was intended to be able to find somebody in the triangle, but Quincy crew do dodge it. Now they have to try and get a relocate out on Leslie, perhaps, because the scan did ping him. Moon Meander's on his way, leads off, Avalanche does manage to catch Dawnbreaker ultimate coming in, MSS hiding in the corner, goes for the relocate out, tether last second, oh, the golem drop, nicely played by Dubu. He knew that was the only way out, was a relocate, nicely played. Moon does die in return though, he died to the overwhelming amount of quills sprayed around the air.
Maybe he was holding the toss for the reload, but I feel like he wanted to toss him into that Donald. Either way, again, finding this IO Bristle pair, and there's just so many stuns for this reload out. It's Mojo's life is not easy. The Golem, the LSA, 2 tiny spells, the Dawnbreaker, Starbreaker.
Oh, they're going for it. They saw, I guess, Dawnbreaker mid, and they say, now's the time to fight. The first time the Quincy crew is going to get aggressive. And the damage is coming through. That carry Wind Ranger is online, boys and girls.
I mean, you saw that Viper, he got shredded.
He did. He did.
Put him through the paper shredder. And he's come alive, man. That's all it took. You gotta get through this early game with this hero. This is the roughest part. Farming up those neutrals, you feel bad. Get a couple of core kills here and there. Suddenly this Wind Ranger is gonna become pretty annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a world 5 minutes. Well, maybe not. Maybe 7 minutes from now. You are.
It's saved.
He actually is going to get out. I thought he was dead for certain there, but no, Laguna Blade didn't have the mana for it from Bryle. So that's a little bit sad. That would have been a big kill because it would. I think the BKB timings for Quincy crew. I could see a world where they turn this whole game around off of BKB Bristle and BKB Wind Ranger. Nice toss back with the upheaval as well. A beautiful curse. Quinn trying to play inside of that one away from Tomato is going to get cold embrace, but he is certainly dead. But Leslie can use this time. Oh, the relocate out. He actually got the Zeus away. What a save from Quincy crew.
God damn. Operation Save Quinn. Nobody left behind. He's even TPing back.
And they do manage to get the tether away. Tomato didn't time that correctly. Now the shackle shot landing. They have the focus fire onto Tomato. He's forced to use the BKB and run away. Bryle throws out the Laguna Blade. Yawar, he's going to get burnt out from that one. The physical damage is racking up. Bryle keeping his distance from the Bristleback. And they pick him apart. Quill by quill.
Damn, that was a hype-ass shackle. I thought maybe they're going to be able to commit on that. Just... This Lina is just... Still has Aegis doing so much damage, and hard to commit into the fight there. Into this Bonds that's waiting. This Mage Slayer Dawnbreaker is pretty tanky. You can see the glimmer of what they're trying to go for, though.
Quincy crew, they showed that they can like get out of fights and they can get pickoffs, but it still seems like the 5-on-5 is lacking.
That's going to be the hard part for them this game for sure. And this is a Viper Warlock Dawnbreaker ball. A lot of HP and resistance to cut through. On their way to BKB on this Viper as well. Going to make it even harder. Once again, Bryle's just having the second Lina game of his life here. The other one was the first, and
yeah.
Level 20. Already up there. Full Silver Edge completed. He is well ahead on that net worth chart, and this is a game where he's going to put that net worth to use. It's going to make this Bristol's life very difficult. We saw there just how fast the Viper shreds him alone. You get broken on top of it, even without the Viper break. Leslau really needs this BKB now. You're not fighting until this is online, which 400 gold, he'll have it.
Yeah, it feels like if we want to go back a few hours, that game 1 where Quincy Crew was winning and then TSM hit this timing and won 3 fights in a row, it feels like Quincy Crew need that, if not even more than just 3 fights in a row once they get these BKBs. The BKB on the Bristleback, the BKB on Wind Ranger, it feels like they're going to have to do so much work in such a short period of time.
It's the name of the game. You have to win these fights because your Wind Ranger is not going to get the farm, and she's, more importantly, not going to get the levels anywhere else in this game.
They will not have BKB on the Wind Ranger for this fight, but they do have it on Leslau. He's going to be tossed back, trying to go for the Chainstone, doesn't actually get it. The toss LSA didn't work. They get the relocate out, and looks like the Tiny is going to be power shotted down. Nope, the Wand keeps him alive a little bit longer. Zeus is looking for it. They do manage to get Dubu on the back lines. Fada kept that one, and he can blink forward and maybe catch a little bit more. He doesn't have the curse, but he has the slowdown. Yawar just needs the vision for the shackle shot. Nice use of the illusion rune. Gets rid of the shackle shot, and Fada has to jump himself away without the BKB. Leslau has to reset.
Buyback.
They know they have to get away from Tomato right now. The hammer goes out. Nice shackle shot, but they cannot turn around. Not with a swarm of TSM heroes running down the line.
TSM getting kited super hard here.
Yeah, they are, and Saberlight was actually out of position there a bit. Forced to use his BKB to TP out.
All right, I mean, some shackles landing. The kiting potential. That's one way Quincy can take these fights. Play the ranged game. What's the gap close for TSM? It's all on Moon, and Fada's just waiting for him to go and counter-initiating. It resets the only initiation TSM have. Moon forced to buy back.
They go for the Bristleback. They know he doesn't have BKB, and they shred him. Oh, he was facing that Lina and just got burnt to a crisp by Bryle.
No curse to bail him out that time. Fada stuck in the base. On cooldown anyway. Some glimmers of hope here. They're going to need to connect a couple more of those.
That's a little awkward. Moon, he put himself on the high ground, and there's a fresh Nimbus up. They will kill the Nimbus, but it looks like Moon will eventually... I don't know if he knew the Nimbus was up, but that was just a sad, sad fate for him there.
Yeah, maybe he thinks he has a 4-staff more than he really does, because that's a dieback. He's dead for 60. And again, he's the only stun, really, for this TSM lineup. So, a decent window for Quincy to maybe take advantage of it. Wait for their Bristle to be up here. Potentially smoke and try and find something on the map.
Yeah, you could see Yawar was at least willing to get aggressive, and they land the right shackle shot. They could relocate the Zeus in. Don't think I've ever said that sentence before in my life, but MSS and Quinn are apparently hanging out as a duo now.
Yeah, drop the Nimbus Relo on top of it.
I guess so. That's
It's like he bolted in from heaven, you know?
Like Thor coming down from the sky.
Yeah, the hammer of justice.
Bryle needs to be careful with these covering up some of these split pushes that are happening. And he does do pretty well. Pretty conservative. Just pushes out the lane, farms back. He is getting close into a Scotty, which is going to be a massive upgrade against any IO lineup. Bristleback is going to be harmed by that quite a bit. And make him super tanky, too.
Yep, the more tankability they have, the more they're going to be able to fight into the kiting and the Zeus spells that are causing them problems. Also, Blink on Tomato, a huge item in this game. Very important for him to be able to jump, not just rely on this Moon Meander tossback.
A massive fight. They've got the scan up to the high ground. Leslau may be forced to use his BKB, not where he wants to. A relocate to the side here to make sure Leslau's okay. They keep the BKB intact, and that's very important because they need it to contest Roshan. Whoever wins this fight will likely win both the Aegis and the Aghanim Shard.
They really want that Aegis on Browell.
Oh my god, he got a double damage.
This is the power of power runes. You were questioning me earlier, but I'm telling you, these things are insane. Map control equates to rune control, equates to Roche control, equates to qualifier control, maybe.
Yep.
It's a lot of control.
That is a lot of control. Control squared. Quincy crew now in this kind of lineup. I mean, it felt like they were reaching a sort of peak. I feel like their heroes, they do continue to scale. Don't get me wrong, but Bristleback is an insane late game hero. I'm just feeling like that was one of their bigger peaks. I thought that was a Roshan they could contest.
Zaya's middle tower has fallen.
They wanted to fight away from the pit, I think, ideally. And TSM just were willing to give up a little farm to make sure that didn't happen. Sitting on the high ground ward, sitting in the pit. It's just hard to run into them, you know? There's just this Lina Viper sitting here. Like, would you just charge in, tank the brunt of it so your Zeus can wait until BKBs are out? There's not an obvious way to start these fights outside of a crazy good Shackle, which... Again, Yawar's just poor, man. He does not have the levels, he doesn't have a blink. Now they're trying to catch this Bristle pair again. Forced to BKB.
Yeah, and Leslau is actually... I don't know if he realized it or not, but it's a good thing he didn't TP out. Otherwise, Dubu was ready to go with the Golem. That was a nice TP in from Dubu.
I mean, what is the point where Quincy feels confident enough to take this 5-on-5? It might just be forced into them trying to go high ground. At the same time, TSM can just control the whole map, and they're building a sizable advantage here. I don't think they're in any rush.
No, certainly not. Seems like Quincy crew are just going to have to wait for opportunities. They spot a potential one here with Moon Meander trying to backdoor the tier 1 tower. Nothing comes of it, though.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And Bryle, ever on the hunt. And he gets big like this, he's got a killer instinct.
Dire's bottom tower.
He's definitely feeling himself on this hero. That's why they went back to it. Round 2 of this Lina. It's working out pretty well for him. He's got a Mind Breaker too. Amazing item on this hero with the attack speed. Might even be able to silence this Zeus and not get a leap off. Bloodthorn on this Dawn.
Dire's bottom tower is under
There's a lot of net worth coming in. I know Zeus is a god, but money might be more powerful than a deity.
Yeah, dollar bill wins every time, I think.
What is the power of a god in the face of raw capitalism? Nothing.
You ever watch American Gods or read the book?
I watched some of it, I think.
Yeah. That's the new gods right there. Money, capitalism.
Yes. The new pantheon.
Refresher is going to be built by Quinn. I mean, just like theory crafting going late game, all of their heroes do scale. It's just a question of whether or not they can scale well enough to beat this Lina, who has a sizable amount of team fight around her. You are still working on a Blink Dagger that he's been working on for, it feels like 10 minutes now. AC next for Leslau, and again, the Refresher for Quinn. I mean, I think Quincy crew don't have any options here. I think they just have to wait for TSM to mess up. And TSM has no pressure on them, so the chances of them messing up, I think, are pretty low.
I guess they agree, and they're going to take the risk to move out here and try and take the fight. Asia's still up for a minute.
Move underneath this ward. The Nimbus is going to be able to catch Moon Meander. A good way to be able to initiate. The Dawnbreaker's going to try and stop this. The Winter's Curse not actually thrown on from Fada, and he actually gets healed. Bloodthorn is going to be able to finish him off very easily. Bryle loses his first life underneath this ward. Mojo goes for the TP out. The Golem's going to be able to stop him, though. And a Laguna Blade just for the finishing touches there. Bryle breaks Leslau. Shackle doesn't land. Nothing there. Lotus Orb also available. They got to be careful of where they're throwing these spells.
Precarious fight for both sides. They get the Wyvern buyback, which is going to be huge in this game for a long time. No fat fodder as we're used to seeing, and this Wind Ranger does kill the Lina. Like, they have the damage to kill this Lina if they get on top of him.
They're still trying to fight around this ward. The curse goes down, but nothing close by. They actually push back the golem into the curse. A cute play, but does absolutely nothing.
Out for 70. I don't know if TSM can force the high ground here. Probably not. Probably just going to take their opportunity to farm up the entire map. Work towards this Brile Satanic that might just push him over that edge of killability. I still think if he gets shackled for the full duration and beat on by the Quincy cores, he will die. That's probably the route to victory in one of these team fights. You know, I hope Yawar's Wind Ranger is as good as he said it was.
Look at that damage. They go for the relocate out. It's needed too. The Bloodthorn actually stopping that, but they did give up on the kill either way. Moon Meander, blink on cooldown, sadly.
I think it's kill this Lina or bust, man. They're just doing way too much damage. It's going to take you too long to chunk through these tanky heroes, I think. I don't know. That's my bet. Either that or land a crazy curse, which Fada's game has been pretty hard. There's just not a lot to go in for him.
Nice shackle shot. They have been looking for this opportunity around this ward so many times. Saberlight isn't dead just yet. And there comes the Lina. Yawar destroyed by that one. The double Nimbuses weren't enough damage. I mean, they got the Viper, yes, but the Dawnbreaker's still alive. Brile's going to chase away Quinn. Looks like he might be able to get him. What a hit from Tomato for the double kill godlike, while Quinn is chased away by the Lina. Leslau's going to be finished off as Brile comes back to play.
Lina or bust, man. Lina or bust. This hero is just out of control if they do not stop him in these fights. Great shackle by Yawar, trying to take advantage of the little vision they had. I can understand the play. It's just he is dwarfed in net worth here, doubled up by this.
Oh, the blink dagger forward with the double Starbreaker hit. Beautiful play with the Bloodthorn. That is going to be enough. Quinn is dead for 80 seconds, and now the base is fully available for TSM to take advantage of.
This might just be the game. I mean, they're going to get Megas here. No Zeus for 70. Unless you can shackle 4 heroes here.
Where's that refresher?
Yeah, where's the Grim ult? I mean, maybe not Megas. Maybe TSM's going to play conservative. There's a DD waiting for them in the river. I think you Megas him here, though. Push the Zeus by. Yeah. Victory on hand for TSM on a game 5. Pushing Quincy to the limit here.
TSM might be just trying to play it safe because they do have potential Roshan respawn and they don't know that Zeus doesn't have buyback. I mean, they could probably have an inkling because they know he just spawned a refresher, but they are not willing to push it and see what happens.
Only way you lose this game, it feels like, is if you overextend in a base death and give them Rosh, so I don't think there's anything wrong playing it safe here. Aegis is likely going to end this game on top of an Ags, most likely, or a Refresher Shard.
Yeah, either one is good.
You're up 30k. I don't think you're sweating too much here.
Double damage in Tomato's bottle as they wait for the Roshan, and if they're patient enough, they will be rewarded.
Waiting for shit, man. They're waiting for their tickets to Malaysia. They're smoking in.
Thundergod's Wrath, that's going to be able to spawn some heroes. They're going to break through onto Dubu, but look at that. Saberlight jumping in, immediately forcing the reaction. Moon Meander all as well. They do have the Dawnbreaker jumping into the Winner's Curse. A little awkward, but it's fine. Saberlight ultimately is able to push back some of these heroes, and Leslau cannot stand toe-to-toe. Back turn, it doesn't matter. They have the break, they have the damage, and they have this team fight. That is it. TSM FTX win your North American qualifiers. They are going to ESL One Malaysia.
That Viper pick, man, it was just absolutely too nasty there. I feel like Quincy, it just slipped their mind a little bit, and they got caught in that situation when what is left to lane versus guy pulls out the Wind Ranger, but TSM happy to just play the farm game. Suddenly you have a carry Wind Ranger where there's nobody else to start.